Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Sal. This is the Critical Minds podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a topic. So this is our new episode, and right now we have my man Braden. My man Braden, say what's up.
Hey guys, how are you? It's been a long time. Glad to be back from the from what I've experienced, I guess. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in this podcast. I know a lot of you enjoyed it, so I'm happy to be back. So we're going to be diving into a lot of interesting topics, ranging from health to well-being to the pharmaceuticals to uh, mainly, it's going to be about promoting health and well-being and ultimately eudaimonia, which means uh, flourishing ultimately. So,
Love it, love it. So right now, guys, what we're gonna focus on, we're gonna focus mainly on having like a understanding about health and what Braden have noticed and what I've noticed also regarding the topic. Braden is obviously has it already broken down into different sections, and we're gonna be discussing all these different parts that play a role in our health and our daily interactions and how these things affect us, so on and so forth. Braden, you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
sure. The first topic is going to be about physiology and psychology. I think it's extremely important to master your physiology. And what I mean by physiology is just your physical body, your physical well-being, your physical wellness. And historically and in modern terms, there's three pillars to this. There's diet or nutrition, although, it's mainly diet because sometimes, not all food's nutritious. But anyways, diet, sleep, and exercise. Those are the three pillars of health, of physical health specifically. And these are extremely important areas to master because they affect everything you do as an organism, as a Homo sapien, I suppose. So, and the great thing with this is, or the interesting thing with this is, they're all interconnected. So all these pillars are interconnected. And so if you get good sleep, you're more likely to eat well. If you eat well, you're more likely to get good sleep. If you exercise, you're more likely to get good sleep. If you exercise, you're more likely to eat well. So, it becomes a positive feedback loop in some sense of just goodness of health. Now, there's a few things that get in the way of this, and we can get to that, but I think mastering those three pillars is absolutely essential. And the fact that we have in the States a good percentage of people who are obese and a good percentage of people who are overweight and a good percentage of people who have extreme high blood pressure. And, the list just goes on.
And
I
even in
think they're just
Canada,
the
no?
physical. Oh, in Canada too. Yes, absolutely. And in lots of places in Europe and even the Middle East and South Asia, etc. But America and Canada seem to be doing pretty well in that regard, not in a positive sense, but yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it is it's like, it's a normal thing, right? Like they think it's a normal part of life. You get older and then you start having all these diseases. So there's also this part of it is that it's so normalized nowadays.
Yes, exactly. And I think part of it too is rationalization, because rationalization is extremely dangerous. Obviously, um, you can't avoid it entirely. It's necessary in some sense, but if you don't rationalize ever, then you're going to just overwhelm yourself, and that's not going to be good. But as a general rule of thumb, I think rationalization is extremely dangerous and harmful for the individual and society. And how that relates to this is people are rationalizing and justifying their bad behavior in the sense of, well, it's okay to eat bad, to not exercise, to not sleep well,
Hmm.
because there's multiple rationalizations. A lot of what I hear is, I just don't care. Like I don't care for my health. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then a part of it too is just like, oh well, just be easy on yourself, be gentle on yourself,
Hmm.
which I understand where that's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that can easily be misinterpreted, and it can turn into, I think being gentle on yourself is good. I just think, you know, sometimes
Complacency.
yes, sometimes enough is enough, and you got to kind of, sometimes you do have to be strict on yourself, kind of
Yeah.
how it is. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's the harder things usually get you the most pleasure, right? Like because you kind of achieve certain th something for yourself.
yeah.
And I feel like so since we've been 5 minutes in the call, we're just kind of mentioning all these details regarding our lives and like how like all this health consequences that happen because of normalization sometimes leads into more enabling in our society to continue living a life that will essentially like kill more people, right? So how are you structuring this, Braden? Do you want to start with like the first aspect of it, just kind of like focusing on the conscious and the subconscious, like you were mentioning?
Yes, well, that's part of it. Yeah, the conscious and the subconscious is very interesting because there's only so much you can consciously control in as far as willpower. And for instance, if you want to exercise, many people I've heard, the vast majority of people say just, well, just willpower it out, which is useful in certain contexts. It's not the best long-term solution because you're in a lot of ways going against your biology, you're going against uh your physiology, and it's just not like an optimal solution. Instead, if you eat right, if you sleep right, and you do those things, then it's not just going to fall in your lap. It's not going to fall into place, but it's going to be a lot easier to exercise and to do well if you prioritize your health and sleep, nutrition, and of course exercise. I mean, those things go hand in hand.
Hmm.
So sometimes you do have to willpower it out, though. I'm not saying that that's not a thing,
Yes.
but you should make it as easy for yourself to do things as possible.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there's going to be difficulty. But don't make it hard on yourself for the sake of making it hard on yourself, if that makes sense. So
Can you simplify what that means?
I'll give you an example. Let's say let's say you're going to the gym and you're doing squat. So you're doing the squat exercise, and I wouldn't start super high. I would start one step at a time and just make it easy for yourself.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I agree
One
with
one
that.
one step at a time is pretty much the idea.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the gym and your expectation is, or you exercise and your expectation as well. I gotta run a triple marathon by Tuesday, then it's probably not gonna work out. You're gonna overwhelm yourself, and it's not gonna be a good solution. But if you take it one step at a time, you make it easy for yourself. You just do one. It only really takes kind of one step,
Mm. Yes.
one motion, one decision, one step in the positive direction. Because there's a I'll make this very quick. There's a neuropsychology aspect to this, where if you do a good thing once, that's good for you, you're more likely to do another good thing.
Hmm.
If you do a bad thing, you're more likely to do that bad thing. And it's
Yeah.
called neuroplasticity in neuroscience, where the neurons in your brain wire a behavior the more you do that behavior.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
No, it is definitely like that's the case. So it's like the more habitualized you are to something, you kind of the more you're used to doing it like mentally. And yeah, definitely I as a personal trainer, like studying this stuff is definitely like it's all about, what you reinforce, like if you constantly like see a lot of positive results from bad behavior, you're gonna continue doing the bad behavior, right? Like, and same for good results, right? Like so going back to like that's the positive and the negative and conscious and the unconscious too, right? Like so you can be thinking about a lot of goals that you want to achieve, but if you don't reinforce it by unconsciously thinking the right way or having the right beliefs about yourself, it kind of starts to affect you a little bit by a little bit because you have this mental chatter all the time going on in the back of your head, regardless of how you look, you know so, if you, especially since we grew up, like, obviously you're not responsible for the way you grew up, but you're responsible to fix whatever happened in your
exactly.
life, So, but yeah, that's us touching about this topic really quickly. And we wanted to expand more on the next topic. What is the next topic that you wanted to go into, Braden?
Well, the next topic is the chemical imbalance theory, which is a theory promoted by pharmaceuticals and psychiatrists that has recently been disproven. Not to say that antidepressants and SSRIs don't work, because they do for a lot of people, but this theory that they promoted of it's as simple as your neurochemistry is out of balance. To restore the balance, you need to take this pill, and the pill will restore the balance ultimately. Well, that was just a lie. That was a fabrication, and it was widely promoted by doctors and psychiatrists. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important for a lot of reasons, but ultimately, I think the main thing is the dependence. I feel like I'm kind of going all over the map here. Let me narrow it down, because there's a lot of things. This is very deep and this is very complex. So if I'm, kind of seem like I'm uh,
Yeah,
rambling a
no,
bit or all over the map,
no, you're good. Yeah, just kind
please,
of,
please, please, please correct me. It's
yeah, no,
just it's an
just
extremely
simplify it.
complex. It's an extremely complex kind of issue that we're dealing with here. There's a lot of variables, but simply there's a chemical imbalance theory with antidepressants, and the antidepressants were supposed to raise your serotonin in your brain, the chemical responsible for happiness, pleasure, experiencing satisfaction in life, regulating emotion. But that happened to be a lie. Now, the pharmaceuticals promoted this, and there's a fabrication.
Now, I want to interrupt here. What,
Yes.
based on what that you're saying, it was a lie. What is your evidence?
The evidence is that they've done brain scans of people, and there has been no noticeable difference in their brain when they take the SSRI and when they don't. And they've never actually, there's no, the reason it's not so much that, it's more so that they don't measure serotonin in your brain.
And what is serotonin responsible for?
Serotonin is responsible for regulating emotion. It's responsible for regulating behavior, for regulating thoughts. It's pretty much like the satisfaction chemical in your brain to know that you are doing well in life. So when you increase serotonin, what happens is you feel, oh, I'm doing good in life.
Hmm.
That's pretty much what the chemical is responsible for. In ancestral times, when you won a competition, serotonin would increase because
Yeah.
it's signaling to your body that, okay, I won the fight and therefore I'm the winner and I should feel good about myself.
Hmm.
And then if you lost the fight, serotonin would decrease, is pretty much the idea.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
And you're saying that they don't measure how much serotonin is in your brain.
no,
Right. Right.
and they don't
Okay.
even know they have no measurement of what the optimal balance would be, is the issue.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
the problem is it was they marketed it as an extremely simplistic thing of like, okay, you have this depression, which is extremely complex to begin with. You have this depression, which is a combination of genetics and environmental things, and the solution is simple. You just take this pill and, Bob's your uncle, you're good. It's like,
Hmm.
no, that's wrong on
Yes.
many, many levels. So,
So I just wanted to put it here, like, so who did this study, or like which school did it, or is it a more of a clinic study, like, or like kind of more like a national thing, like where's the source? Like, if you can remember now, you can also include it in the descriptions. There's no problem.
well, I don't even need to include, like, people can just do their own research. I mean, it's widely accepted now that it was a scandal, it was a fraud. You can
Hmm.
do a Google search and say, is the chemical imbalance theory still valid? It will say, no, it was scientifically disproven. However, that doesn't mean antidepressants don't work, type of thing. They will say that.
Right.
Um, so,
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fair. So we'll link up to some of like the prompts that we think like you guys should look up to be able to understand more about the topic. But that's very interesting. I personally didn't have a lot of like issues with medications, but I personally don't even use medications, I'll be honest with you.
I
What I
don't
do,
either.
yeah, so I kind of more like the natural route, and that's how I'm able to heal myself most of the time. But yeah, I can definitely relate to what he's saying because I do have a lot of family members that have issues with that, with basic things, and there's more. It's very nuanced, but I definitely agree on the chemical imbalance topic. I guess like so for the sake of time and for people that are watching this, since it's more efficient for us to move to the next topic, since we have more. We already said what we wanted to say on that. What is the next thing that you wanted to talk about?
Well, one more thing is that in a lot of ways, it creates sort of like an artificial solution or an artificial winning, because you're
Hmm.
not really winning. You're not really happy. You are, but you're not. Like, imagine if you could stimulate the feelings of winning. Like you stimulate the feelings of a gold medal around your neck.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you can simulate those feelings, you can through chemicals, pills, etc. But in a lot of ways, it's not real because you haven't actually won the medal. It's just your brain thinks you won the medal.
Hmm.
So that's what these antidepressants kind of do, which I'm not telling people to get off their medication or anything like that. That's preposterous. But what I am saying is that it creates exactly that, where if you win a competition or if you do well in life, you experience those positive emotions and you're rewarded for them. Simplistic, but we'll go with it.
Yeah,
And
and this is what I just wanted to kind of put a notice. This is not medical advice from us. This is more of what we experienced.
yeah, this is definitely not medical advice. And this is just speculative. But what happens is it doesn't it doesn't solve anything in the external world. It's just giving you the kind of illusion in some sense that you're doing well, you know?
Hmm.
And the real thing is to deal with the thing that is causing the depression, that's causing the anxiety, that's causing the whatever the pathology is, not to put a pill on it and suppress the issue.
Yeah, because now you're reinforcing bad behavior.
In some ways, yes, but the main thing is that you're just not dealing with what's in front of you. I mean, imagine if you had a a snake was in your house, and you're just like, oh my gosh, a snake is in my house. And then you're just like, well, I'm not going to deal with a snake, you know. I'm just going to take a pill and in some sense pretend like the snake's not there because that's pretty much what you're doing. And by taking the anti-anxiety medication and then but the snake's still in your house, you know? Because the reason you're feeling the anxiety is a danger. Your organism is basically saying there's a danger somewhere. We gotta deal with this. And what the medication is doing is like saying, well, there's no danger here. And it goes back to the conscious subconscious idea because the
Hmm.
conscious mind is like, well, we're okay, we're fine, we're good, everything's okay.
Hmm.
But then your subconscious is like, well, like your heart is beating out of your chest and you're like vomiting. Obviously, you're not okay,
Hmm.
So, um, and then with the depression idea, it's like, okay, if you're depressed because you lost, let's say you're not doing well in school and you get bad grades. Like, okay, well, fix the grades. Don't take a pill and then I guess in some sense, um, in some sense kind of stimulate the feeling that you're getting the high grade. It's like, no, get the grade and then it's a double win. You get the grade plus you get the positive feeling
Yeah.
associated with the grade.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's
does it
like
make sense though?
yeah, no, definitely like I feel like anybody that was watching this like will definitely relate to this because it's a lot of times like where you just want to distract yourself because like it's better like for people because it's like just less effort, you know? And it's just more convenient to do it because it's just like why deal with like all the headache, when you could just like avoid it completely and just like put it off. I mean, until there is a crisis and I have to really do it. So it's like that's when it really comes down to evolutionarily. It's just like how people operate. But back in the day, we were necessary. We had to push ourselves like 110% every single day because you're basically like living in the wild, right? Like you had to do everything yourself. Like if you didn't, you died. So like good luck, you know. So like I feel like that's what the difference that we have now is just it's like things are so much accessible that like the whole thing of like pushing yourself on a daily basis is just gone, and like the critical thinking aspect of like I need to do this to get this is just not there because it's like you just be like okay, like I'll just get it, you know, when I get it, I'm not gonna die right away, it's fine, you know. So like so it's just like putting things off. I feel like that's what's the detriment. In my perspective, you agree?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're 25 minutes in. You wanna stick with this? What like expand on here, or you wanna
Well,
go
part of it
somewhere?
also is because for those of you watching, Sal and I, or Sal and me, it doesn't, whatever, I'm sure there's one that's grammatically correct, but you get what I'm trying to say, is we're both extremely big on independence and we're both very big on, well, being a critical thinker. So, that's the real hair in the soup with this issue. It's not, it's not, you know, I can tell you to, I don't think I'm an expert in anyone's life, but I can tell you to eat well, to, sleep well, to exercise, and Sal can do the same. And that will definitely have positive results. But ultimately, everyone has to think through what they think is best for them on their own. And but the problem is that with this medication issue and psychiatry and um, a lot of the pharmaceutical companies, is they pose a dependence issue where they say you don't have control over this illness, you don't have control over your mind, you don't have control over your disability or what's happening. You're
Hmm.
you're not responsible,
Hmm.
you know? You have no power.
Yeah,
You have absolutely no power. However, how you get the power ultimately is by taking our medicine. That's how you get your power back. So
yeah,
that's how you get it back.
yeah.
And
Yeah. The thesis, antithesis, synthesis, kind of thing, like the fake solutions that don't go anywhere.
yeah, well, that's kind of the thing. And some if and if you're okay with that, then that's okay. I mean, if you think that that's logical or emotionally appropriate, then go for it. However, I don't think that's right at all. I think people like having autonomy and agency and control over their lives and their destiny. And this has become more and more, um, once you believe that you don't have power or you don't have autonomy or you don't have control over yourself, you're going to decline very rapidly.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the belief thing like kills like it's like I believe like they did multiple studies on people that were diagnosed with cancer and then found out they didn't have cancer, but they actually died from their belief of thinking they had
Yeah.
cancer. And it's tragic, you know, like how people can kill themselves by just thinking they're basically deteriorating, um, and being on like you know some kind of misdiagnosed or something. It definitely like it's very interesting the power of the mind and how a lot of people call it pseudoscientific, but there is evidence for it that it actually does work. We it's saying that we would be done in 10 minutes. Do you want to hit on anything else before it runs out?
Yeah, well, the first a couple of things is yeah, my main thing that I always ask people is okay, you know, if if I'm not the one doing the action, who's doing the action? And historically, that's always been for a good chunk of history. It's always been like a demon or a devil or you're possessed or, but that doesn't work anymore. You know, that in most in a lot of cultures. Um, so now it's been, well, you know, it's the illness, but it's not like the illness is some sort of like um, some sort of thing that's completely outside of your biology or your organism.
Hmm.
I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, it gets complicated because people can act in very abnormal ways, but the point is you're the one doing the action. It's not, like I said, if you're not the one doing the action, who's doing the action? The illness? Like, what do you mean the illness? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So is it brain chemicals? It's like, well, you are your brain chemicals in some sense, so that doesn't work, you
Yeah.
know? So
And just because someone like what tends to happen most of the time in the medical industry is that you get like you when you look at anything natural, they usually list the side effects first, and then they try to not mention the good effects
yeah,
of the thing that is natural. And they say like, if you experience anything under the sun, seek medical attention. Basically, like if you basically have a sty or something, you have to seek medical attention. If you, I don't know, like hit your feet and you feel like numbness, you have to seek medical attention. Like there's so many things that are like so I feel like the public now doesn't really have common sense with knowing what to do in certain situations. And I feel like that's the power is like you need to take away the power and bring it to yourself and actually like be responsible for your own life instead of trying to find a savior. You have to be your own savior in a way by educating yourself and learning outside of what people are, they don't want to put in the effort to do. Like they just want someone to tell them like, yeah, just pay this much and you'll be fine, or you just come to me like 3 times a week and it's gonna work out, like without any understanding.
well, yeah, it's just encouraging this idea of dependence, and that's a very, very, very harmful and bad idea of you have no control. You know, that's because at that point anything goes. You could commit, you know, anything and it wouldn't be your fault.
Yeah.
You know, you could, you know, let the whole world on fire and it wouldn't be your fault.
Yes.
It's like there would be no accountability. Well, there is no accountability these days, unfortunately. And or very little of it. So that's that's quite bad. But it makes and for a lot of these disorders or illnesses, they act like you're gonna like die or something if you go off the medication. Like literally die. Like if you look up, you know, what happens if you go off your pressure medication, or what happens if you go off your antidepressants, or they
Mhm.
say it could cause like literal death. For the case of antidepressants and uh, Loxapro, I think it's called, or it's an antidepressant.
Yes.
They say it can cause brain zaps,
Yeah.
brain zaps.
Yeah. So it's like fear. It's like basically like,
Who
yeah.
wants to experience brain zaps? And
Yeah.
coming off those, especially those psychiatric medications,
Yeah.
it just feels like you want to freaking die. From what I've heard from other people, I mean, it feels like it just feels awful.
Mm.
And again, I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything to come off their medication. I'm just saying that that narrative of you have no control, the way you get control is by taking this medication.
Yeah.
There, they got you. Dependence, you know?
Yeah.
You
And
you
and
you no longer have autonomy over your own mind,
yeah,
which
and
is
I don't want to cut you off.
no,
Finish
it's
the
okay.
thought.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, and I just wanted to add this final thought. Like, our call should be done very shortly in 3 or 4 minutes. What is truly what I find fascinating is like, you have to kind of see that there's a lot of evidence out there for people that have gone like in an unconventional way, and their doctor told them you'll die in a week if you didn't do this and do that, or didn't take this medication or that medication, and they found an alternative medicine kind of way, or they found a different way, whether they worked out or they did juicing or they did fasting. There's so many like black seed oil, like ashwagandha, all these natural like ways of eating that you can include in your life to not have any side effects. Like every medication that, just to kind of put this, it's like every medication for some reason, not exactly like obviously like the simple stuff, but the more complex issues, like every medication somehow, somewhere has a side effect. And that side effect shows up after 2 or 3 years, and now you have to make this big surgery that costs you 20 or 30,000, or now you have to be treated for life because you took one medication. Now your liver is messed up. You have to take two more medications.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah,
well, what doctors will do is they will, if you have a side effect from a medication, solution is to incorporate another medication to deal with that side effect. So it's just medication on top of medication on top of medication. Next thing you know, you're on like 20 medications,
yeah,
and your body is just like it just feels like you're just injecting like you're just putting like poison in your body at that point.
yeah.
But
But when you do it naturally, you don't get any side effects. Like that's the thing. Like it's like you just like obviously like if you're smart about it, obviously everybody's situation is a little different. You got about 2 minutes now. Do you have any final remarks, Braden, before we conclude this?
uh yeah, I mean, like the main thing is being smart about it. You know, just huge disclaimer, like don't do anything unwise. Don't be stupid. I'm not encouraging anyone necessarily to go on or off medication or whatever. That's not what Sal and I are saying here.
Yep.
We're just making you aware of certain things that we've experienced, that we've heard from other people, and that's pretty much. And we're just expressing our perspective,
Yep.
our freedom of speech, which we don't really have anymore, but that's okay. But yeah, the main thing though is what I've heard from others is to, if you master sleep, if you master exercise, and you master nutrition, those three things, there's very, very, very little need for any medication, really.
Sweet. Okay, we got
That's
about
the main thing.
45. Okay, we have like about 45 seconds. So, guys, like it was really awesome to obviously produce this episode for you guys. My name is Sal, obviously, and main man Braden, you wanna do the outro so we could, you know?
Well, this has been Critical Minds, so yeah, definitely important. But yeah, we will see you guys next time. Um, Great talking to you, Sal.
Yep, you as well. Bye, guys.
All right, see ya.